Philadelphia didn't just add a name, they added a headache for every team on their schedule. Trevor Zegras lands in the Metro with something he hasn't had in 2 years. A clean runway, a clear roll, and line mates built to turn seams into goals. If you think the last 2 seasons tell you who he is, you might be reading old receipts. This year, the combination of health, usage, and talent around him could flip his story overnight, and if that happens, he won't just fit in, he'll cause problems. He arrives with contract year urgency, a return to center where his touch actually drives play, and a power play slot that lets him manipulate defenders instead of chasing the puck. Put Michkov's timing on one side and a finisher on the other, and coverages start bending before the puck even crosses the blue. Philly didn't buy a highlight, they bought a puzzle opponents still haven't solved. The deal hit because both sides needed a reset. Anaheim gets picks and flexibility. Philadelphia gets a high-ceiling play driver on a contract year. That detail matters. Players in a prove-it season don't drift, they dictate. And for a Flyers roster hunting identity on the rush and clarity on the power play, Zegras brings both in one package. Deception at the blue line, poise on the wall, and the kind of east-west vision that turns nothing entries into second-wave chances. This isn't just betting on skill, it's betting that a healthy Zegras in the middle of the ice changes how defenses are forced to stand up at their blue line, and once defenders stop gapping aggressively, the rest of Philly's shooters start arriving on time. The last 2 seasons were a timeline of interruptions. A broken ankle, then a torn meniscus, plus a stop-start return that never let rhythm set in. That's the backdrop, not the headline. The headline is that he's skating free again, hips under him, edge control back, and the pace to carry pucks from retrieval to release without a bailout chip. When creative players lose tempo, their game looks disconnected. When the legs return, the reads come back with them. Watch his first 10 games. If the acceleration holds, the cutbacks appear. Those tight low knees turns that bait coverage into overcommitting. That's when the east-west lanes open, and that's when his assists spike before the goals do. Zegras at center changes his map. On the wing, he's a brilliant passenger. At center, he's a conductor. He can delay in the middle third, swing weak side support, and feed pace to either edge. It's also where he manipulates matchups. Ride high through the dots, drag a check, slip the puck behind pressure, and arrive as the third man to finish. As a pivot, he touches the puck in all 3 zones. Low in the defensive end for the first outlet, through the neutral lane for controlled entries, and high in the offensive zone to reset pressure, which builds rhythm and lets his deception stack shift after shift. Faceoffs aren't the headline, but quick wins to the weak side create instant speed and give him the first read instead of chasing one. He can work the traditional F3, hang above the puck, and still dive to the net when the seam opens because the center dictates where the next support shows up. That's the version that teases star outcomes, not just the highlight plays, but the chain of small, boring, winning plays that add up to possession time and penalties drawn. And with Philly's defensemen encouraged to join as a late layer, his give-and-go game has a partner on every entry. Philadelphia didn't bring him in to be ornamental, they brought him in to be the hub. Matvei Michkov changes the geometry of a shift. He arrives early to space, sells one look, and punishes the overplay on the second. Put Zegras next to that, and you get misdirection on tap. Zegras can hold the puck a half count longer, wait for the PK to lean, and slide a pass into Michkov's one-touch window. The rolls are clean. Michkov's timing and release, Zegras's bait and deliver. It's not a who drives who question, it's who punishes the mistake first. The most dangerous part isn't the first pass, it's the rebound pattern after the goalie fights it off. With Michkov hunting weak side rebounds and Zegras trailing in the slot, you create 2 layered shots without changing personnel. This is the kind of pairing that turns quiet shifts into tilt the ice runs. If the Flyers want raw finishing power and chaos creation, Travis Konechny alongside Zegras is a cheat code. Konechny gets to pucks early, wins the second battle, and turns broken plays into tap-ins. Swap in Tyson Forster and the field changes. Less scramble, more set piece. A heavy release, a reachable target on delay entries, and a winger who can hammer pucks that arrive just off the defender's heel. Need straight line speed? Owen Tippett stretches the zone, pulls a defender 2 feet deeper than they want, and gives Zegras time to scan. And if you want guardrails, Sean Couturier's two-way scaffolding lets Zegras cheat a little for offense without burning the house down. The point, Philadelphia can tune the line around Zegras, blunt force, Konechny, pure shot, Forster, vertical threat, Tippett, or defensive compass, Couturier. Any one of those looks can work. Rotating them lets the Flyers hunt mismatches week to week. The Flyers' power play has been a riddle. The fix isn't mystical, it's sequencing. Put Zegras on the half wall as your primary carrier. Let him enter with control, park Michkov in the weak side pocket where his stick is loaded, and give Konechny or Forster the first-time hammer on the strong side seam. The bumper lives for Zegras' curl feeds. The net front feasts when defenders shade high to cut the seam and leave the crease unboxed. The real key is repetition. Same entry, 2 looks, 3 finishes. Penalty kills hate, sameness that branches. Zegras thrives on that exact game. Show shot, slide pass, then reverse it 2 shifts later. Suddenly a bottom tier PP starts to feel scripted in the best way. Predictable to your guys, miserable to everyone else. Rick Tocchet won't hand out ice time for vibes. That's a feature, not a bug. His teams play with clear lanes, attack the middle, and keep the D connected as a 4th attacker when the timing is right. For Zegras, that means a framework where he doesn't have to improvise every touch. He can ride structure into creativity instead of using creativity to invent structure. The details are simple and brutal. Stop on pucks, no flybys. Inside body position early, short shifts with speed. Breakouts are predictable on purpose. First touch to the middle, quick bump if the wall is sealed, and a second layer arriving through the dots so the puck doesn't die on the boards. Once they cross the blue low to high isn't the end of the play, it's the start of the next inside cut with a defenseman stepping into space while F3 protects the top. There's also the accountability piece. Quick video, quick fixes, no drama. Miss a read, you see it once, correct it the next rep. Win your check back in the defensive end, get above the puck early, and then attack. Tocchet rewards that with better matchups and more OZ starts. For a player who's had to hear about his complete game, this is the perfect test. Center the puck on exits, own the middle lane on entries, and manipulate defenders only after you've earned their feet to turn. With that scaffolding, Zegras doesn't just get touches, he gets repeatable touches in the same areas, which is how chemistry sticks and numbers climb. The carrot is obvious. Thrive here, and you're the centerpiece of something being built, not a passenger on someone else's rebuild. The formula is simple. Stay on the ice, stay in the middle, and keep the puck. Health is the boring hinge that moves everything, and it's non-negotiable. After that, usage. If he's stapled to PP 1 touches and lives with 1 or 2 of Konechny, Michkov, Forster, Tippett at 5-on-5, he'll find rhythm, layer and repetition, same entry patterns, same half-wall reads, same bumper options, and his deception compounds from week to week. Micro goals matter. Win a few more draws to the weak side, add 1 extra controlled entry per game, cut a couple of neutral zone turnovers, and the season tilts. The pitfalls are equally clear. If the Flyers chase matchups too much and spin the lines weakly, chemistry lags. If entries turn into dumps, his value drops. If special teams slip back into off-the-rush one-and-done looks, the numbers won't follow the talent. There's also the temptation tax, trying to do it all alone, forcing east-west at the blue line, or drifting to the wing when patience is required in the middle. And yes, volatility around a young finisher can mean hot-cold pockets that test confidence, but there's a reason this bet makes sense. The ingredients he needs: speed next to him, a finisher on his flank, and a coach who demands details and rewards buy-in are finally in the same room with enough lineup depth to keep the plan steady when injuries or slumps pop up. Keep the touches frequent, the routes predictable to teammates, and the reads ruthless, and the what could go wrong list shrinks to noise. Strip away the noise and the picture sharpens. Zegras isn't just changing sweaters, he's stepping into a role that matches his instincts at center, next to a rising star who reads the game on his wavelength under a coach who gives talent a spine. Contract year urgency, a power play begging for a manipulator, and a city that rewards swagger when it's tied to results. That's a recipe for a career peak. Give him Michkov's timing on one side and either Konechny's chaos or Forster's hammer on the other, and every shift becomes a puzzle for defenders who can't guard 2 passing lanes at once. Keep him on PP1 as the primary carrier, repeat the same 2 or 3 set pieces until penalty kills overthink themselves, and the production follows. If he hits the ground with pace, holds the middle, and the lines stick long enough to build muscle memory, the Flyers won't just be better, they'll be harder to prepare for, tougher to chase when trailing, and downright annoying to kill penalties against. That's how this year becomes the rebound everyone remembers, and why, night after night, someone else is going to be stuck with the problem named Trevor Zegras.